Trade I took on the 20th of December 2022. It's just one trade today, but it was really fun and interesting. So let's crack on with it. So obviously, usual thing, setting up the daily high and the daily low for the Asian range. Interestingly enough, Asia had a really big move at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I haven't double checked what the news was for Asia, but clearly there was something going on because it doesn't normally move that much. So I had quite a big daily high and daily low for Asia, which was really unusual. I wasn't quite sure what to do. So I went out onto the daily, had a look to see what my bias was going to be, and my bias was bearish again. And so watching what was going on from, say, about 8 o'clock, so I looked at the charts from 6:30 and looking at sort of London Open to see what was going on. And London Open, little bit of movement, not really a great deal until about 8:40, and then it jumped up quite a bit. But I didn't see any sort of entry points at that time. I did put a fib on to see if it was going to sort of retrace what it was doing, but I wasn't getting a sense that there was really any kind of entry point at all. Once we got to this area here, I started to notice that there were some sort of relatively equal price points, and it did go above that. Possibly a liquidity sweep before it goes down, and that's when I started to see sort of it was starting to make that move down. So I put in a fib to see what was going on. So once the price reached here and started to pull back, I put a fib on to see what was going on. And did I put yeah, so that was the fair value gap at the time. Let's make that a little bit bigger so you can see what's going on. So that was the fair value gap that I was looking at. And at the time, I think it was about here, and I was thinking there's no way that it's going to pull all the way back to here. It's just too far. But I thought I'm going to trust the process, and I'm going to put in my trade. So going along with my bias, a short, putting my, so this is where I actually placed the pending order. Put my pending order for here, so at the start of the fair value gap, put it back to a stop loss of here, giving a little bit of leeway, and the the price just shot up, and I thought, oh, okay, it's gonna crash. It's gonna crash me out of the trade, but it stopped just short and started to play out. So once it hit this point here, I cleared off three, a third of the trade. So it's 9 to start with. Took out 3 here, and then as it continued to go down and hit the 61.8 minus fib, I took out another one. I think it actually ended up taking out here, but anyway. So I took out another one. So I only had 3 left at that point, and I thought I'm just gonna run with it, and it was so frustrating. So on TradingView, I've actually moved this since the order happened, but on TradingView, my take profit was there. But because of this gap, the spread, it never actually triggered. And I just thought I can't close it now. I've only got 3 left. It's not going to make any difference now if I lose those 3, because I've made enough profit from the other 6 anyway. But that's how close it was. That's how close my TP was at the end. It literally just tapped in by less than a point, fractions of a point. But because of the spread, it just didn't trigger. It was so frustrating. So anyway, I just set it, forget it, walked away, set a couple of alerts, and the alert went off when it crashed out. But otherwise, that was absolutely to plan, even though it didn't hit that final TP. What did I aim it for? So I aimed it for as many of these points here at the bottom, and I think there was a fair value gap as well. Yeah, so there was a 15-minute fair value gap too. I mean, it's so close. It's so close. But never mind. It's all fine because on the paper trading, you can see. So the 20th of December, that was the first take profit of 3. That was the second take profit of 3. And that was the loss being stopped out for the final 3. So it's another blue day. Delighted. Lots of fun today. Really enjoyed it. It was just so nice to see the relatively equal highs play out, the sweep play out, and then the pullback play out. It was just, everything was on point. It was just such a shame that last TP didn't take. But it's a winning trade, so I'm very happy. I hope you found this useful.